¿Qué vamos a hacer en París? Daré, Julia. Baila un poquito más, acércate a mi mamá. ¿Qué vamos a hacerlo una vez más? Ella baila pero no dice nada, su booty lo expresaba con perreíto y con dembow. Sabe bien que ha sido la estrella dándole al reggaetón, ton, ton, ya. Y empieza el flow, esta es la nueva era pero baila todo. Baila una de Maluma y Tego Calderón. La nena está bien puesta pa' cualquier canción, no tabaco y ron. Y empieza el flow, esta es la nueva era pero baila todo. Baila una de Maluma y Tego Calderón. La nena está bien puesta pa' cualquier canción, no tabaco y ron, ron, ron. Quiere más de lo que vamos a hacer en París. La Julia. Baila un poquito más, acércate a mi mamá. ¿Qué vamos a hacerlo una vez más? Yeah. El que más ladra come hueso, el que a ti te baila sabe eso. Y nos ponemos bien traviesos, esos son efectos del proceso. Solo con esa mirada sé lo que quieres. Se ve muy educadita, hace sus deberes. Siempre ha sido la envidia de las mujeres por toda esa belleza y cómo se mueve. Sabes como tú me dejas después del party en ti pensando. Cuando tú te sientes sola como una loca, a mí me llamas. Qué casualidad que pienses en lo mismo que yo estoy pensando. Escondernos en la playa jugando a solas de madrugada. Ella quiere más de lo que vamos a hacer en París. La Julia. Baila un poquito más, acércate a mi mamá. ¿Qué vamos a hacerlo una vez más? Ella es una asesina, la baby a mí me domina. Ya me tiene loco, malo del coco, ni se imagina. Una asesina, la baby a mí me domina. Cuando te toco siento que choco con una mina. Ella quiere más de lo que vamos a hacer en París. La Julia. Baila un poquito más, Life is funny and sometimes strange. It seldom turns out the way you think. But if you want some good advice, I can offer this small wink. You'll find that a little goes a long way. A little goes a long way. A little goes a long way for love. A little goes a long way. A little goes a long way. A little goes a long way for love. If you were so lucky as to find someone with whom to spend your every day, that's in itself a journey, a lifetime of endless study, and you won't master it anyway. But know that a little goes a long way. A little goes a long way. A little goes a long way for love. A little goes a long way. A little goes a long way. A little goes a long way for love. And maybe bring her flowers on a weekday. Go see an old matinee. Find out what her heart is dreaming of. Make plans for a holiday. You can find your own getaway. A little goes a long way for love. You should know that a little goes a long way. A little goes a long way. A little goes a long way for love. Love, love, love. A little goes a long way. A little goes a long way. A little goes a long way for love. Baby, a little goes a long way for love. Yeah, yeah. A little goes a long way for love. La tóxica eres tú, cuando me tratas mal y sigues, cuando tú me traicionas con vaciles. Hermosa pero tú tienes como 10,000 perfiles, uno que me ames y otro que me olvide. La tóxica eres tú, cuando me tratas mal y sigues, cuando tú me traicionas con vaciles. Hermosa pero tú tienes como 10,000 perfiles, uno que me ames y otro que me olvides. Eras todo lo que yo soñaba, ahora te quiero olvidar, y con tiburones ya no sé nada. Por eso ausente voy a estar. No me mereces, no me mereces. Ponle esa trampa otras veces, no es mucho lo que tú ofreces. Ella sabe lo que yo le doy, ella es consciente de lo que pasa. Ya ni me le arrimo, aquí estoy. Siendo estrella, buscado en la NASA. La tóxica eres tú, cuando me tratas mal y sigues, cuando tú me traicionas con vaciles. Hermosa pero tú tienes como 10,000 perfiles, uno que me ames y otro que me olvide. Quiere conocerme pero no, cree que me gusta con sexo en la habitación. Pero lo sé todo, como tú los besas. Siempre vienes tarde con el dolor de cabeza. No soy bobo, sé lo que haces cuando no estoy yo. Después me dices qué te pasa, amor. Pues lo que pasa es que esta es tu canción, si quieres vos. La tóxica eres tú, cuando me tratas mal y sigues, cuando tú me traicionas con vaciles. Hermosa pero tú tienes como 10,000 perfiles,
no sabes lo que pasa.
El primer verso, papi.
Yeah. Lo que manda aquí la clave. Este ritmo guaguanco. Esto es lo que existe. Y también está mi chamaco. Nadie nos resiste.
¿Qué no resiste?
Aquí estamos bravos. La chema tan brava. Esta vida es brava. Y yo también soy bravo. Por eso lo que repica son los cueros. Aquí lo que suena fuego. Mueve la abuela el pescadero. Acá lo mueve el aduanero. Norte al sur. Lo vemos viendo. La orilla el mar. Nos ve sonriendo. Y yo sé lo que tenemos no es para juego. Y esto es divino. Por eso lo que hacemos gritar tumbarle con ritmo letales. Ya no saben lo que pasa. Yeah. Mi abuelita ahora tiene masa. Aquí lo que falta el cajón. En esta jungla soy el gran león. Armen las cosas en el malecón. Lo que gozamos es salsa y son. Ya saben lo que repica son los cueros. Tengo la clave, soy el suero. Esta vida es fuego. Por eso quiero una vida suave, soy sincero. Que viva mi gente, que viva la raza. De noche a día aquí se trabaja. Igual la gozamos, bailamos en plaza. Y esto es calidad pura en todas sus casas. Que viva mi gente, que viva la raza. De noche a día aquí se trabaja. Igual la gozamos, bailamos en plaza. Y esto es calidad pura en todas sus casas.
In this moment, yes, I cannot say what's wrong or right. It's not hard to fool me, 'cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on?
Way I follow, no need to say where we are heading now, babe.
Good evening.
I follow
In the chat room.
edge of it all,
City. Age.
edge of it all.
Gender. Let's get it. City, age, gender. Wasabi for artists, designers, poets, and philosophers.
Cause I know what I'm getting into. Yeah. Nothing can stop me. 'Cause I'm addicted to you.
Let's get those likes up. Come on.
I follow
till you realize there's a fight no matter what.
How we doing tonight, folks? What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back, people. You see the topic of the show tonight. We're going to get right on into it. The question has been asked, are women allowed to change? Are men allowed to change? Are people allowed to change? Let's change this real quick. Because this is are people allowed to change? I'm going to tell you where this all came from. It has always been my opinion that pretty much human beings know how to get stuff done. We know what we want and don't want in this world. We do. We know what we want, we don't want in this world. And it's not a lot of brain surgery or rocket science. It ain't really hard to figure out that most people want to live a happy life. Most people want to have some modicum of success, have an emotionally profound and significant some sort of relationship, have children, have friends, family, acquire some things, do some things before they transition to the next life. Okay? And for the longest, especially in the black community, we kind of accepted these things as being normal. But in the last several years, I've noticed one of the worst things I have heard happen, in my opinion, one of the worst sayings that has happened to the black community is this whole notion of keeping it real. Keeping it real. It got so bad that even Dave Chappelle had to make a damn skit about it. When keeping it real goes wrong, it had gotten so bad to where we got this whole thing about keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm 10 toes down. Okay. Before I get too far into it, let's see what's going on in the chat room. Because I'm going to piss some people off tonight. And I want you to know, before we get started, if I piss you off, I intended to. If I pissed you off, I intended to. If the notion of change pisses you off, I am wholly aiming this at you. Because I want you to leave. I don't want you to moderate your views. I want you to go somewhere where you can enjoy that space. Because you won't like it over here. Okay? And that's fine. That is fine. All right. Here we go. Not only is it we have this whole notion of keeping it real to the point to where when keeping it real goes wrong, Dave Chappelle even had to laugh at some of this stuff. We got this thing to where if you can be dead ass wrong on the facts, figures, data, and statistics, you can be 100% in opposition to clear reasoned thought. And just because you double and triple down, we've made that a virtue. Now, I'm going to say we saw this happen during the presidential term of one George W. Bush. W made it a point to where when he was wrong, he doubled down or triple down. But the problem is he was president. You're not. Let me tell you some of the problems I have with this whole bull crap of, are some people allowed to change? Because we got all this smoke for when people decide to, well, first of all, aren't adults supposed to take in new information? We make decisions based upon the best information we have at the time and go forward. But we also are supposed to take in new information, run it up against the existing stuff, and reformulate and adjust if necessary. Think about it. If mankind never changed, we would still be good with fire in the wheel. But we have to figure out, is there a better way of doing things? We're supposed to take in new information and act as if, especially men. So I find it particularly problematic when we as men just stay stuck in amber. Then when you got, especially when, and then when you got folks that got all this smoke, but only in words. See, I'm a big proponent of showing your work. Anybody can talk a good game, but if you believe in something, you should be doing it. And I'm looking at people with the side eye if all you got is words and no work for something that you can talk loud about. And let me tell you something else. This bullshit notion that just because you keeping it real, just because you 10 toes down, or you quote unquote on your principle, that makes you better. This bullshit virtue signaling that comes along with the whole keeping it real. See, keeping it real, when you hear keeping it real, you tend to hear bad decisions and bad things. You tend to have bad outcomes when you keep it real. I've never seen keeping it real followed by a massive success. So what happens when you people start to change, moderate, evolve, like everyone in the world can? Every other race of people seem to be allowed to be human, to change over time. But not black folk, in particular not black men. No, you got to stay the same way you were. Senator Robert Byrd came into the Congress, stomped down racists. One of the KKKs, an ally of the KKK from the South. And over the course of his long Senate career, went from being a virulent racist to a civil rights advocate of sorts. He made a wholesale change as a United States senator. There aren't but 100 of those in the world. He was one of 100 men, and he was allowed to hold one of the highest offices in the land with one position that got him elected, and while in office, changed to something else. Would a black man have been allowed that latitude in black America? Probably not. Probably not. Because soon as you start to change, moderate, reevaluate, whatever, what are some of the things you heard? You're a sellout. You're a fraud. You're fake. You're flip-flopping. You're pimping stuff out. Or if you're a woman, you're a pick-me. Look here, man. What is the point of being an adult if you don't evolve, grow, and improve? If you know everything you need to know at age 21, what good is the next 70 years? There's a reason that the highest offices in any country tend to be held by older people. because younger people just do not have the wisdom that comes along with the knowledge they may have. And it is a fool that can look in the face of facts, data, statistics, lived experience, and still state, I'm not changing 10 toes down. This is just what it is. Well, congratulations. You are in the minority, and that's extreme. You can have that position, but I would tell you in my life, I avoid people like this. I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to debate with you. I don't want to talk with you. I don't want to breathe with you. I respect your right to be foolish. I respect your right to be proud, whatever you want to call it. Use whatever word you like. I think it's rather foolish to know you're on the wrong side of an issue and stay stuck. What's the point? What are you here for? I would tell you one thing. I'm on YouTube for business. I make no bones about it. Business first, business always. And I deal with people who have a North Star. I don't deal with people in my business life who are on some principle crusade. Because that principle you're on, it better line up with your political ideology, where you're putting your money and where you're putting your vote. Because if all I hear is a bunch of dadgum talk and I look at your work and it don't line up, get out of here. Because what's the freaking point of all this? As an image consultant, it is my job to help people become the best version of themselves. And that requires self-improvement, personal development, and ultimately change. See, if I didn't believe in the possibility of change, I wouldn't have a business. Why are other races of people allowed to change? But black women aren't allowed to change, and black men darn sure are not allowed to change. Why are so many people seemingly afraid? Take afraid away, whatever word you want to put in, but it's negative. Why do so many seem to have issue with change? What is the fear in black men evolving, changing, becoming better? What's the fear? What is the fear in black women doing the same? It's my personal opinion. A big part of the fear is because you hold up a big mirror to other people's face and they see that they could have done something different too, but they just chose not to, because it comes down to a choice. Comes down to a choice. But I would tell you that when I work one-on-one with men, one of the biggest fears men have is living a life of insignificance. Many men fear this. They fear that they will live, die, and it will not have made a difference. You can't take the money with you, the cars with you, the property. The only thing you can't take anything. All you leave is the impact you had on many people. Now, the majority of us won't live a life to where we'll be of historical significance. But to live a life of significance means you need to have people. You need to have impact on people in order to have a life of significance. Juxtapose that with women, and a lot of women's biggest fear is they will live a life and die alone. So, if we know men want to make an impact, and we know women want to have relationship, does it matter how we got to where we are right now if people want different? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't live my life looking backwards at the root causes of this and that. I just accept the fact that we are where we are, and I look about outcomes. Outcomes. in this country, a lot of black women have been told you're strong, independent, don't need no man. The music, the culture, a lot of stuff has helped you kind of buy into that superwoman / sapphire role. But it's funny when I get a chance to talk to women one-on-one, more often than not, it's like, man, I don't want to do this. I really would rather be a housewife and have a bunch of babies and work my husband's business. But you know what's funny? Is in my real life, I had this conversation with an older woman today from the UK. And I mentioned that, you know, a lot of women come to my channel and, you know, from high school, but most of them are college educated, master's degrees, some sort of advanced degree. And 99% of them say they want to be stay-at-home wives with children and not go to work. And this woman who was working at a high-end retail store was like, what? Oh, they want to go backwards? And I just shook my head and I said, oh yeah, I forgot. Generation X black woman. And over the next 5 minutes, it did not matter that I know what I'm talking about. It don't matter that she's seen my customers. People come in here asking about me. Doesn't matter. This over here, that over here. That all that matters was how she felt about the subject. But I'm sitting there looking at you. I'm like, you're working at a department store, high end as it may, but you're having to work. And I got it. And I'm gonna tell you, I didn't say it then, but I'm asking myself, what are you really giving up? I mean, it's not like you're gonna discover the cure for cancer. You got a retail job right along with everybody else who's selling somebody else's products. You make commission off of it. But what do you not understand that young ladies look at you and say, I don't want to do this the rest of my life? But then, of course, as we start to have the conversation, here comes all that bull crap, color purple stuff. I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. I understand that. We got to have the conversation. Ladies, do you feel like you're allowed to change? Do you feel like you're allowed to change? Do you feel like the world allows you to change? Do you feel like the world allows you to change? Do you feel like black men allow you to change? Do you feel like other black women allow you to change? Black men, do you feel like you're allowed to change? Do you feel like the world allows you to change? Do you feel like black women allow you to change? Do you feel like black men allow you to change? Let's get into it. Because I like this person I was talking to, but I'm going to tell you, there are hundreds of these people. I mean, we're not talking about, you're not the manager of this department. I mean, you know what I mean? And I'm really sitting here like, you mean they would rather do that and give up all the freedoms? Freedom to do what? To come to the mall to sell somebody else's stuff and collect a paycheck every 2 weeks? You're free? I mean, not trying to insult, because I like her. And I said, well, yes. I'm talking about men who have the money and are willing to pay the cost to be the boss. But see, I know in my gut, in her mind, that ain't possible. If I asked what's the avatar of the average black man, he's a lower ranking guy. But I bet the average white man, Asian man, Middle Eastern man, she would rank them higher. So much so that can't even imagine a life into where black men and black women can have traditional relationship. To where people can live at their means and have a happy, fulfilling life. No, you'd rather, anyway, I don't get it. I don't get it. But before we get into this, man, are y'all kidding, man? We got to get these likes up. We got to get these likes up, man. We got to get these likes up because I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to ask it point blank. I have talked to many brothers who said they feel stuck. They feel trapped by the way society has them painted in. I feel you. But I'm also going to ask, but I'm going to tell you, I have never, I don't ever recall having such a virulent reaction from a black man regarding this normality. So I'm going to ask the question. I'm putting it back in the chat room. Are black women allowed to change? Are black men allowed to change? Are we allowed to change? Are black people allowed to change? I'm going to say, I want to hear what you guys have to say. But before we get into it, let's check what's going on. Naima, what's up? Can't keep doing the same thing. Okay. Ultimate MGTOW. Okay. All right. Let me see what's going on before we get in there. I'm about to open the Zoom room because I want to hear from you guys. I know my opinions on it, but I want to hear if you feel like you're allowed to change, if you feel like you're not allowed to change, and the reasons why. If you're a black woman and you feel like you're not allowed to change, why? Why aren't you allowed to change? What's the biggest reason? Are you not allowed to change because of black men? Are you not allowed to change because of black women? Black men, if you feel like you're not allowed to change, is it because of black men or is it because of black women? That's really what I want to get into. If you feel like you're not allowed to change, why? Who? I know what I think. But what I think is not relevant to how you feel. All right. There we go. Good topic. Ah, my. But before we get into it, make it rain, baby. Make it rain them likes. 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 Money World.
Money World. Yo digo las cosas como son, no quiero ninguna aceptación. Tampoco vengo a pedir perdón porque mis sentimientos se volvieron la canción. Yeah, no me vale mucho como tú me ves. Sabes, tú me llegas solo a los pies. Para mí ser grande es un interés. Ser un buen humano para mí es un deber. El dinero ya lo veré. No vendo mi alma, lo lograré. Seré el más grande, no olvidaré de dónde vengo ni cómo voy. Money World.
Come on. Put something in the tip jar, folks. These lights don't pay for themselves.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero. Money work. Corazón, de corazón. La plata no te hace ser feliz.
Come on.
De corazón, yeah. Plata no te hace ser feliz. Money work. El mundo quiere dinero. Yeah. Money work. Money work. Se arregla con dinero. Money work. Looney.
Good stuff. All right, now we're out of intermission. Let's get into it. Remember, when you get on, what I'm going to need to hear from you is I'm going to need you to make sure that YouTube is muted in the background. All things off except Zoom. Only thing on is Zoom. If I hear background noise or whatever, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next caller. If I have to keep telling you, I'm going to just drop you. Remember, keep it polite, keep it civil, and get straight to the point. Okay, I don't want to hear I don't need to hear your life story and who shot John. All right, we're going to get into it. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do.
Hello?
Yes. What do you
Can you
got
hear
for
me?
me? What do you have for me? What's your first name?
My name is Ayo.
And what do you have for me?
Yeah, so I have a quick story about something that happened.
Okay,
that
how old
relates
are,
to this
hold on before we do that. How old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
22 years old. Are you in college?
Yeah, I'm finishing up in August next month.
Where are you going to school?
I'm in Canada, so it's a college here, but Toronto.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a story with a good friend of mine. Very intelligent, didn't really take the same path as me. He had like, I guess, a different hairstyle. He had braids, and he had an experience at one of the liquor stores here. It's run by the government, so it's called LCBO. And one of the cashiers, an older white gentleman, right, told him like, I don't think you should be rocking that hairstyle. And then he went on to say that I'm saying it as if you were my son. I'd say it to my son, right? So he told me that story, and I didn't really give him my opinion on it because I was just gonna leave it at that.
Hey,
But he told me,
okay, I got to ask you. The topic of this show tonight is black men allowed to change or black women allowed to change? Where do you come down on the issue? Yay or nay?
all right, so I think black men are allowed to change if we choose to, and a lot of factors come into play in regards to restricting us from changing. And I feel like there's a lot of excuses for us not changing, right? So in that example that I gave, it's just a story. He didn't want to change because he felt like racism, because the white man was racist. Even though what I saw it as was, just looking more professional, in today's society.
Now you were just in a liquor store?
No. My one of my friends, he had an experience. It was him. He had braids on.
Right. But this was in a public business. This was in a business though, right?
Yeah, he was just buying liquor, right? And
Right.
the cashier told him that.
Okay, well, I would tell you this, man. I don't see your friend as being wrong. It's not a big look, man.
Okay, all right.
I think it's very presumptive for somebody
someone
working in a
else.
liquor store to tell your friend how he needs to look.
Definitely.
I bet what I've said about hairstyles in corporate America, but I don't know what your friend is doing. Just because some white guy behind in the liquor store does not like dreads, he's not the president of the United States. He's running a goddamn liquor store. See, What
That's
I
very
don't
true.
want,
That's very true.
what I don't want black men to start doing is start feeling like you got to conform to what average everyday people think.
Okay.
So that's why I was asking you the questions. It's not as though, when you said we're in a store, I automatically went, that man's behind the counter.
Okay, well, I guess I wanted to add to this too, right? Because personally, I feel like, my friend could do more. He didn't finish school. He's
Okay.
dropped out.
Okay, but what I need to know is about you. I can hear about your friend because here's what a lot of you young guys do. You tell me about everybody else, but you don't tell me about yourself. Tell me
Okay,
about
well,
what you're doing because I got other people in and you're really not on the topic.
all right, what I'm doing, I'm really conforming, to the corporate world because that's, where I want to be.
Okay.
Right. So, in my job, in my setting, I have to dress professionally.
Cool.
Right. So things like tattoos aren't really a thing for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Things like really expressive hairstyles aren't a thing for me right now. Really professional clothing is what I'm on. So I am conforming. It's not who I was, but it's who I have to become.
Okay. Do you ever plan on having children?
Not anytime soon.
Do you ever plan on having children?
Yes.
Do you plan on owning your own business or you plan on working like 70-80% of people working for somebody else?
Well, right now, one of the things I'm looking for a career coach because I at least want a career plan, right?
Okay. So do you want to move up? Like
I do want to
management?
Yeah, I do want to move up.
Okay. Do you plan on getting married?
I do.
All right. Part of the corporate gig is wife and kids.
Oh, wow. Wow. Really?
Where do you work? You don't work?
Right now, I got a job lined up for September
Where?
when I graduate.
Where?
So it's a local hospital.
Local hospital. Okay, so the person who hired you, is it a man or a woman?
The person that hired me was a woman.
Okay. Do you know many regional? Do you know many companies where they're run by single people?
No.
Then why is it such a surprise when I tell you that part of the corporate thing, if you want to move up, is wife and kids? You act like that was a news flash to you.
It goes against what I've been kind of thinking about for my life.
So you want to live life by yourself? Look here, man. Okay, that's why I was asking you about you. I don't give a shit about your friend. You haven't put thought into your own life. And far too often, young guys, you sit around and find fault with other stuff. You're too young to be talking about anybody else. You need to get your own shit together. That's why I was focusing on you.
Understood.
And I was like that in my 20s. I was just, no, right here. You plan on going to work in corporate America. And if you want to move up, you don't see middle management, upper management, executive management populated by a bunch of MGTOW bachelors. So welcome to the world. When I asked you, did you want to have kids? Well, I'm not sure. Okay. But along with kids comes wives. I wish you would think you're going to go into upper management or middle management as a baby daddy. That ain't going to happen, partner.
Wow.
Is that news flash? I mean, you do see the same world I see, right? You're in North America, right?
Yes. None of my previous managers are single. Everybody. Yeah.
So why is this a news flash? Because you don't see a lot of black people married. You don't see a lot of black people in the middle, but you also don't see a lot of black managers either, do you?
No, but the ones I do see are, married with kids.
Did you watch my show? What do rich and wealthy non-black men know and understand about marriage? Because they marry, remarry, divorce, and remarry. What do they know and understand about marriage that single middle class black men don't? And what you're proving is you're focusing a lot out there and not looking at the world. And at the end of the day, when I'm asking you, what do you want? The things you want are tied to the corporate structure. That comes with wife and kids, fam. If you really plan on doing, here's another thing, and I'll let you go.
All right.
If you don't get this figured out, you will help to make your peers rich. Because here's what happens with a lot of young black men. You're talented, you go into the workforce, you're so focused on other shit, you're not playing the long game. While Brad and Lee, Ahmed and Enrique, 3 or 4 years down the line, they're getting married, close to 30, they're having children, they're in the boys club, and they're moving up. And you look around and you've had 10 years, and next thing you know, the people you came in with are your managers and your executives. So stop worrying about your friend and start worrying about how you're going to actually navigate this life.
Thank you, sir.
Got it?
Thank you. I got it. Thank you.
There you go. See, I find it interesting. I have guys like you're throwing men to the wolves and you're sending them back out to the women. And I'm like, what world do y'all live in, man? What world do you guys live in as to why 80% of people work for somebody? I want to also hear from the ladies. Got a lot of guys in here. I want to hear from the ladies as well. Guys, remember, as I let you in, keep it focused on what you got about you. And let's get in there. Hello.
Kevin, hey, how's it going?
How are you? First name?
Chris.
What do you got for me, Chris?
So the question is, are black men allowed to change? I would also say yes. However, with that change in mindset comes change in everything else within one's life.
Okay.
From your environment to your friends to even your wallet.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
26. Did you go to college or did you just start working?
Yes,
out? Okay.
to college.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an attorney.
An attorney.
Yes.
You want to share what kind of law you practice? Are you a trial attorney?
Yeah, litigation, but I do some transactional if it overlaps with the litigation itself.
Do you ever plan on owning your own firm? It sounds sexy, but it's really not.
Right. No, I mean, in all honesty, I'm not too much into the practice of law as much as I'm into real estate. So I began investing in properties at a young age. And so that's my main thing in terms of what I plan on doing long term.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, as far as, you saying black men are allowed to change, but why do so many of us not then?
Why do so many of us not change?
Well, yeah, I mean, why? Like the previous caller, young man could see that in the corporate America, the executives and people who run the organizations are married with children and things like that. But when asked the basic questions about, all right, do you want to do these things? Like, it's almost like we see the world, but we don't think we don't make the adjustments to get in in the world. We don't make the adjustments.
Right. So here's what I believe. First and foremost, I think, and I'll try to speak on behalf of black men. I'm not going to speak on behalf of black women. Black men in particular, and this is not a hit at them, but black men in particular are scared to change.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's just the fear of the unknown. I know me myself coming up in, the inner city, all of the individuals around me, they stayed put. And that generally is the case for most who come from disenfranchised backgrounds. But once, you get of age, you have the opportunity to go out and explore, yet you still choose not to. In my sense, from what I've experienced, I think it's just due to the fear of the unknown.
Okay. I could feel you on that, but here's the thing. I think I don't think it's fear of the unknown. I just think it's fear of success. Because we know what's waiting for us when we don't change. I think it's fear of success. See, it's easy to be a C student. Nobody expects anything of you.
Right.
So when nothing happens, it's expected. But if you're an A student, people expect something. If you're an A student, you get a B on a paper, the teacher's looking at you like you're crazy. Your classmates are looking at you like you're crazy. Everybody looking at you like you're crazy.
Right, right. I'd agree with that. You know, I am the only black person at. When I say black person, I'm talking about support staff, paralegals, attorneys.
Hold on. Nicholas Fuller, don't ask me a question. Get in the chat room. This guy comes in. We've been victimized by the gynocracy. Why should we get in the chat room and get on the call, or knock it off? Don't tell me how you've been victimized by the gynocracy. You're a damn man. Go ahead.
So getting back to what I was saying, I would agree with your point as well. And the reason I say that is because, you know, I'm at a firm with over 100 attorneys, yet I am literally the only black male there, black person in general. Or that puts a lot of pressure on me. But I mean, at this point, and you know this as a successful black male yourself, you know, we invite the pressure. While there is a lot of pressure and it can be scary at times, what I've noticed about we'll say the successful black males that I've met were big risk takers. And I'm not talking about that thuggish, drug dealing, bullcrap, risky stuff that some of these black women like. No, I'm talking about real risk that results in real reward.
Well, let me say this, and I'll go ahead and cycle you back. My background is chemical engineering, but I spent my entire corporate career selling to attorneys. There is a formula for success for attorneys. And that is the ultimate good old boys club, the old boys club. Yes. If you're the only black man, you need a coach. I can tell you right now, you're going to need it. Mentors don't really exist at your level. Coaches. And this is one of the few things that black men know is out there, but we refuse to do. Yeah. Coaching. But okay, brother. Thanks for calling in and giving your opinion.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So let me go ahead and clarify what I was saying to a guy in the chat room. I get tired of hearing these vague things of talking about we've been victimized by the gynocracy. No, talk to me about what's going on with you. You know, I know every talking point. You see the room, it's red for a reason. I know everything that's out there. Why can the guys you follow have women? Why does Coach Red Pill have a wife? Donovan Sharp, name me every one of your anyway, get off that subject, Kevin. Knock it off. Do the work and then tell me about somebody victimizing you. That's a weakened position. Not saying that all the things that happen don't happen. But look, black men, the world does not owe you understanding. And I'm going to say, from my standpoint, the black men that I talk to, the black men who want to be in the top 10% up to the top 5%, we have to stop complaining impotently. Meaning, the validity of your argument means nothing. Let me say that again. The validity of your argument means nothing. You got to win through work, not through words. And far too many just want to win the argument when most people are shutting up and getting the work done. Donovan ain't married. Face facts. If he chose to be, he could. See, anyway, I'm going to start. I'm telling you, I'm going to start sniping some of you guys because I don't like. I'm going to tell you, I don't mind back and forth, but I mean, get on the platform, and if you're a man like you say you are, get on and speak it. I'll let you speak, but I don't do that contrarian stuff, man. I just don't. You need to unmute yourself. What's going on?
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. What do you got for me?
So I just wanted to make a little comment about
being
name. Able to change.
First name, please.
Sorry?
What's your first
Brittany.
name? Okay, Brittany, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Let me say this.
I just found your channel. I like it.
Cool, thank you. Let me say something, people. I've talked to the men on my Patreon. We got to start being so informal with each other. Please, when you call in, introduce yourself. So, hi, Brittany, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What do you have for me?
So I do think that we, as a people, like to change. Although I think that as a whole, we probably have issues with confronting being different from the crowd. And when you start to
Meaning
change,
what? What do you mean different from the crowd?
I think I just kind of found that most of the time when you're wanting to change, you're usually inspired by your direct surroundings,
Okay.
which means you're looking around at people and you're saying, I don't want to be like you. I want to be different from what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing. And so if we were changing
Mm-hmm.
to kind of join the crowd, it'd be a lot easier. But oftentimes we're kind of moving away from things that we know and that we're used to. And so I think that there's just some insecurity in, am I doing the right thing? There's a lot of people who are going to tell you that you're not. And you're kind of on your own until you find your new group. And then you realize, oh, okay, I'm in my lane.
So how's that working? So, how old are you?
I'm 33.
So, perfect spot, 27 to 35. I call that the danger zone. No,
I agree.
the danger zone. It's the years between before 35, which is where high risk pregnancy starts. Are you married or have you been married?
No.
Do you
Not yet.
Do you want to be married?
Yes.
Are you in a serious relationship now?
No, I'm newly single. I'm like 6 months out.
Okay. And how long was your previous relationship?
About 4 years.
Oh.
And he was about 10 years older.
Okay. Put on a pot of coffee. Let's go to work.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me, I'm curious. I'm really curious. Okay, you were with a guy that was 10 years older for 4 years.
Yeah.
You can't know what you did not know at the beginning. Granted. What were you marriage minded when you started?
I was boyfriend minded, which sounds kind of weird, but keep
No,
in
it
mind I
doesn't.
was kind of young.
No, it
Okay.
doesn't.
I was set on finding a relationship. I felt that'd be the first step.
Right.
And then, I had to kind of get that out the way and get somebody who wasn't going to be like a toxic person.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw a lot of people who were coming in and out of relationships and they were so damaged and it takes years to bounce back and lose the weight and all that
but
stuff.
you went to college though, right?
No,
Okay.
I stopped halfway through.
Okay.
So I have an AA and then I stopped halfway through.
All right.
I'm a realtor.
You're a realtor. So you've been in your career for how
Los
long?
Angeles.
Oh, okay.
I'm a brand new realtor, just since January.
Okay, so what I'm trying to see is if, like in corporate America, one of the things I noticed after college is all of the white people, the non-black people started to get married from 23 to 27. They were going to weddings. I mean, it was ridiculous. In the office I worked in, one woman went to 7 weddings in one season. 7.
Right.
And that's what always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Right.
That ain't what you hear in Black America. Because what I noticed is Black women were not going. I worked for a large company, and I was seeing all these average-looking white women going to wedding, and they were. And here's, you know what I heard, Brittany? I heard one woman say, I am broke. It's like every weekend I'm going to a wedding. I got to go to San Antonio for this. And I got to go because you have to buy the dress and this and that. And it was fascinating to me that I'm like that these women felt compelled to have to go spend $400-500 to attend a friend's wedding. But then the sisters was just out kicking it. So the pressure was on white women in this office to get married because by age 30, everybody was married up. So when you say you were boyfriend minded at 29, it makes sense because I don't think a lot of Black women really see themselves being married until later in life. No,
and my parents are still together, but they had me very, very early. And a lot of my friends and cousins the same. Mm-hmm. So I think that there was maybe a little bit more encouragement for us to wait and be young and have your own apartment and things like that, right, that I didn't get to have because I got married so young.
Okay. So you were with your boyfriend for 4 years, and when you got into it, you were boyfriend minded. At what point was there a point where you wanted it to go further and he didn't?
No.
Okay.
Opposite.
He wanted it to go further and you didn't.
That's yes, in the present tense, yes, but
Okay.
I don't think that's going to be my choice.
I'm confused. Okay, so y'all were together 4 years, and he wanted to marry. He was talking about getting married, but you didn't want to marry him.
Yes, we were together for 4 years, and I think that's something that he would want to do, but I don't think he is. I think he's more wedding minded than marriage minded, and so I'm just making a decision to seek a better.
Has he asked you to?
Yoked.
Has he? Okay.
He has not asked me to marry him. No.
Has he brought up the subject to you?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say equally yoked, what do you mean?
Well, I just had family, like my parents and my mom, and kind of pull me to the side and say, listen,
Are you talking about money?
Yeah, he did all right with money. I just don't think I think I had a very kind of stable, sheltered kind of a upbringing.
Okay.
And I think I may have certain expectations for just kind of a traditional, just the way that a traditional marriage goes and family goes, and he did not have that, and so I just didn't think I was going to be.
Okay. So, 4 years, you start talking about serious stuff. Were his mother and father married?
No, I don't think he knows his father.
All right. So, but you were with him for 4 years, and during some of the best years, some of the most not best years, some of the most critical years. Prime years you were already 28 or 29 by the time you were with him. Prime is already passed. You're in the critical years, the years where you can't afford to waste time. So what I'm trying to figure out is, I'm hearing you say that basically the way you're sounding is he was cool to be a boyfriend, but he's not husband material because we're not equally yoked. And I'm trying to understand, is it a money thing? What does that yoked mean? That's broad with women. Did he make enough money? Did he make
lifestyle?
So did he make enough money for you to be married to him?
It wasn't consistent. Not something you want to bring a child into.
Okay. So and lifestyle is a result of his income. Okay. So he made enough money to be a boyfriend, but not husband.
Yeah, probably something I would have mentioned is that because I was in such a unique part of my life, going from my 20s to my 30s, I had changed careers, bumped up like 30,000 in salary. Like so many different things had happened to me in that time frame that I was kind of like, now I understand.
So basically, when you were in the middle, it was okay, but then when you start making more money, then all of a sudden he didn't look as good.
Well, no, he still made more than me. So it wasn't that. It was more of like, hey, now we make more money. Do you want to get a house?
Does he make more than you now?
Yes. Now? No.
Okay. When you were together?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm not understanding.
Okay. It's how you want to spend the money. It's how you want to set up your life.
Well, but that's when you're a husband. Okay. Why spend 4 years with a guy if you want to get married?
Well, I think in the beginning, I thought I had enough time to decide. And then I think I had to kind of stop listening to, him saying that it was the right path. It took a while for me to kind of just follow my instincts. Is probably the short way to put it.
So do you want to be a stay-at-home wife or do you want to work?
I like to be able to stay with my kids when they're young enough to avoid daycare, but I probably would always still be a realtor on the side and make money.
So you want to be a stay-at-home wife?
Temporarily, at least.
How many children?
Maybe not permanently.
How many children do you want to have?
I'm going to be very realistic now. I'm an only child. Maybe 2, if I can get it.
Let me stop you right there. Have you had therapy?
No, I haven't had therapy.
You need it. You need it.
I have a good group.
No, you need it.
I'm down for therapy. My friends are always therapy.
You need it. It's called only child syndrome. I'm an only child. I know of what I speak. That's why I'm sitting here listening to you. I'm like, there's something more going on in this.
I've heard that term, but I only know if that is like what, being spoiled, or I don't know what that
spoiled,
means.
selfish, unrealistic. Spoiled, selfish, unrealistic, inability to play well with others, lack of ability to make or sustain lasting relationships, leaning towards narcissism, leaning towards the dark triad of personality traits. Yeah, we're fucked up.
I'll have to look into that.
I'm telling you,
I
will tell you,
actively,
Here's the thing. It's not for sure. Being an only child, we grow up sooner than we have to. We tend to be more precocious,
yes.
but we're very spoiled in the sense that unless you do things early on, like early on in life, I started doing things outside of myself, volunteering and things like that, because my father's side of the family had more children. Long story short, I had a nice amount of balance, but still, all my friends who are only children never marry. So when I'm listening to you talk about a guy that you dated for 4 years, and it's almost as though you're talking about him as though you were here and he was there, but he's making more money than you. You don't have a college degree. You did have a major bump, but he's still out earning you. And I'm asking, why stay in a relationship so long if you knew you wanted to get married and have children?
Well, yeah, I think I kind of was so focused on getting the first thing complete. And then I'll be honest, once I hit 30, I started to hear a lot of women tell me like, hey, be careful before
Were these women
you're
married?
Going to leave.
Were these women married?
I mean, at different points of their life, but no.
Right. So
my mom is excluded from that.
So your mother and your father are married.
Yes, they're happily married now, and they weren't really the ones saying this.
Okay, and they've been married for how long?
They've been together since they were 13. Married since I was 6, but they've always been together. They just were really, really young.
So you had good role model.
Mm-hmm.
So at 33, if you want to have 2 children, would you say you are ready to be a wife?
I think. What do you mean? Do you mean in what sense? Like financially?
It's not a trick question, man.
Holistically, I don't know, because I don't know what to expect. I mean, I think I'm ready.
Your mother was a wife. Your mother was a wife.
Right.
Are you ready to be your mother?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, because I'm a lot like my mom.
Does she work?
Mm-hmm. She works and she has her own business.
Okay. And was with your father, who made the final decision in your family? Was your mother or your father?
Like just in the household?
Period.
My dad made the final decision, but he's not. He cares about the women in his family's opinions very much. So we got to talk and give our opinions quite a bit, but he made the final decision.
So if you needed to get something done, would you get your mom to do it or would you get your dad to do it?
Depends on what it is.
So
my dad's more laid back, so it depends on
so let me just go ahead and cut to the chase. Your dad did not make the final decision. Your mother made the final decision. I can tell by the way you answered the question. I'm sitting here just shaking my head because, man.
Well, can you give me an example of what a final decision?
Yeah, meaning that if you came from a strong household where you had a strong leader father, that question would have been no nuance. Like when I ask you questions, there's all this hedging and kind of sort of holistic. No, that's not the product of a strong father. That's the product of a more passive or beta father and a stronger mother. Just like your dominant kind of personality is the result of a dominant female and a weaker male.
You know what it is? I'm actually a lot more dominant than my mom. My mom is very feminine, but the thing about it is I definitely took after the men in my family.
So did your father? So what'd your father think about your ex-boyfriend?
I think he liked him, but he does not. I don't think he thought that was ideal for me. So we would talk about it a lot.
So before your ex-boyfriend, so 4 years, you don't know exactly what your father thought of?
No, I do. I think that he liked him as a person, as an individual. Like there was nothing that was wrong.
The question is, how did your father think about him for you?
He didn't think it was the ideal relationship for me, but he liked the guy.
All right. And then What about the relationship before that one? What's the longest relationship you had before that one?
Maybe 2 years.
Okay.
And that was when I was a little younger, and I don't really remember involving my parents much. I was like probably 23.
Okay. And then what about before that?
Nothing that I would call serious.
So,
just like
so you were 23 with the previous relationship, 23 to 25?
No, actually, I wasn't. I was 20 to 23, I think.
So 20 to 23,
yeah,
that's 3 years. Okay, 20 to 23. So you had a 3-year relationship and a 4-year relationship.
Yeah, because I turned 21 in that relationship.
So listen. So this is what I'm about to say. You didn't involve your family in that 3-year relationship.
No.
That's why your father was not a dominant man. There's no way a 20-year-old woman should be in a 3-year relationship at 20 years old and her family ain't involved in none of this stuff. Then you turn around at 29 and you live a 4-year or 28 and have a 4-year relationship. You've had 2 long-term relationships. That is part of that only child thing.
The keeping it to yourself or the length of time?
Well, several things, ma'am. Several things. But unfortunately, this happens to a lot of Black women, only child or not. It's not uncommon to hear Black women in their mid 30s who've had several suitable men. There's no way you can be with somebody for 3 years if he's not suitable.
Well,
there's no way you can be with somebody for 3 years if they're not suitable. You may want to go back and revise history, but this ain't my first rodeo. And what I'm saying
I see your point.
Well, yeah. And the thing is,
don't count my first one though. That wasn't suitable.
I'm counting your first and it was 3 years.
Wasn't suitable. But Take my word for that. But I learned, and then I decided, like, hey, let me get into something that's a little bit more.
You've learned that. Let me challenge that. You've learned, right?
Well, I learned from the first one to the second one to try to be. I just kind of continued to try to hone in. So
you've had a 3-year and a 4-year, but you still,
So now
you're still in charge. But you're still in charge of who you're going to date the next time, and you still have had no therapy.
I'm considering it because my friend's having a lot of positivity with it, and I used to want to be a psychologist.
Considering it means no.
No, I would. I actually
would. Brittany, listen. Nobody sees your picture. No one sees your face. But what I'm saying is, you've been in charge of the last 2 long-term relationships that you picked men who were not suitable, not on the level of being a provider, lifestyle, whatever you say, you've picked them with no input from any other man. You've listened to a bunch of other women who have no track record of success with men, and you're still in charge of this process. You have not gone to sit down with a counselor to understand what's going on with you because you keep picking these people. I'm telling you that you need therapy. That's not an insult. But you're 33. But you're 33 years old. You have no time to waste. If you want 2 children, even if you met the man tomorrow, it would take 6 months before you are married. If you got pregnant on your wedding day, you may be kicking 1 kid out by age 34 and a half or 35. Your second child would be high risk.
Yeah,
but you're not talking like you're doing anything about it. And if you're in LA, the cost of living is not inexpensive. If you want to take off until they're school age, till they're kindergarten? Till they go to kindergarten or first grade? Which one?
No, I don't think I'll be able to do first grade.
What would you want?
Maybe like maybe preschool.
Preschool, which is what?
So I think that's like 3 or 4.
Oh, preschool can be anything, but okay. Let's just say 3 or 4. If you want to have 2 kids, that's still 5 years out of work.
Yeah.
That's still 5 years out of work in LA. So that means you're going to need somebody in LA. It's going to make it around 2 kids, 400, close to $500,000 a year in LA for you not to work for 2 years, for 5 years. What are the chances of you meeting a guy who's making $300,000 a year in LA?
Well, the family that I do know who stayed home, who are about my age, they don't stay home and live that kind of a lifestyle. They do a lot of couponing. They cut corners.
Ma'am, I have clients. I have clients in LA, and I've thought about moving to LA. LA, the cost of living is on par with New York City. It's expensive.
Well, I have family. My
ma'am,
cousin
but
who's
we're
a year
talking
or two older,
about
she
you
tells
and
me to move to Texas. I don't know.
So let's throw one more freaking thing into the fire. See how you're all over the board. Let me think what you just said. I said, listen.
It's just when you get to a certain age, you get a lot of opinions.
No, well, how about this? You've got a lot of opinion from a lot of women. How about this?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's why you're all over the place. You don't listen to your father because he's not going to point you in a direction because he's just hands off. He's watched you drive your relationships into 2, a 3-year, and a 4-year ditch. That's not what your father wants for you. But apparently he doesn't have.
He's concerned with religion. So
whatever he's not doing, he's not concerned with helping you. Maybe he knows that you ain't gonna listen to him.
I think that's probably right.
Well, I know because you're a stubborn, bullheaded, only fucking child.
Yeah, probably.
I know. No, probably.
I will.
That's another reason why you're by yourself. You're a pain. You will be a pain you'll be a good girlfriend, but you'll be a horrible long-term wife because you're hard-headed. This is what the therapy's for, man. Because I'm just running the numbers. I'm running the numbers. You said, well, that number you threw out there. Well, coupons. There ain't enough fucking coupons to cut to bring down the cost of living of LA. Well, we can move to Texas. So let me get this right. You're going to meet a guy who can have you staying at home and all of a sudden he's going to move from California, LA and have that job there? That makes no sense.
No. Like if she was telling me I should, now that I'm
Who's
single,
she? Who's she?
My cousin who is a stay-at-home mom, but she lives in Texas. She was telling me like
your cousin is stay-at-home mom is okay, but she
was saying LA is not the place.
Unmute yourself.
Oops.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you a direct question. When you're talking to men in your life and just day-to-day life, do you overtalk them?
Depends on if I like them or not. I'll be honest.
Is that
romantically? Not romantic. Day-to-day, yeah.
How about this? Romantically? So how about this? How would you honestly? Do you think that's rude?
To overtalk?
A man, yes.
I know they don't like it.
What about it? What if a guy just...
No, it's rude.
What about it? But see, you can overtalk a woman because there's no threat of anything. See, in a state of nature, what happens when a female decides to get too aggressive or try to dominate a male?
They assert their dominance?
Right. So only in this country have we, in this westernized world, have men been restricted to not knock the furniture out your mouth. When you continue to overtalk a man, especially even on his show, I don't care if you're romantic or not. You're still trying to overtalk me to where I had to mute you. That's rude. And you know it is.
Sorry.
Would you do that with a white man?
I don't know. I never thought about that.
Really?
Probably.
Really? So when you're at work, where do you work? You work as a real estate agent?
Yeah, but I did work in corporate before, so I was in that dynamic before.
Right. So you overtalk white men that way too?
That's what I was going to say. Strangely, all of my managers and stuff were women. I don't think I've ever had a male manager.
Again, and then your father sounds like he was very hands-off. I'm going to be polite.
He's very hands-on, but I understand what you mean as far as in certain areas of your life being
How about this? How about this? Even you're still trying to be right. I don't care if you're a whole headache. Whole headache. You ain't got to worry about being married, especially to a man that's going to be able to provide and let you stay at home. The best you're going to get is working. If you get lucky and find a man. Don't no man want to hear this. I'm going to be honest. Don't no man want to hear this. You think you got it all together. You want to tell me what your cousin who's married. I don't want to hear what some married woman in Texas say.
No, I'm just
Shush.
trying to give you some perspective.
I don't give a shit about your perspective. You can't even get your life going right. Why do I need to hear your perspective? Has it worked for you? How's that working for you?
Well, that's what
How's
I'm
that
talking
working
about
for you?
me.
How's that working for you?
What?
How's your perspective working? How's your perspective in trying to get me right on all the nuances? How's that working for you? Have you ever dated a man? Have you ever dated a man who was a high earner, not rich yet? Have you ever dated a man who's well off, got his stuff together, knows where he's going, and in charge of his life?
No.
I wonder why.
Well, by my standard, I think you would agree, though. I'm assuming you'd agree.
I said, I wonder why. Do you think a high earner, not rich yet, would put up with this?
Like me talking a lot? Not unless he's
not talking a lot. You being combative, you wanting to be right on the argument. This is more than only child. We've gone far past only child. You've gone into typical black female fuckery, honestly. You've gone smooth into it. There's a reason you're 33 and chronically unmarried. It's not because you're not attractive and can get a man to say, I will be seen in public with you. It's just you can't get a quality man.
Well, I think what I'm trying to kind of gauge now is just like finding some good examples to try to kind of get an idea of how they operate, so you can kind of see like the differences. Like, okay.
Why do you think that works?
Examples?
Yeah,
Finding examples?
Why not? Okay. You're 33. You're not 23. You're acting like you got all the time in the world.
No, I don't think that.
So you're still trying to do it the slow way. Why? Here's a question. Have you ever thought about going to sit down with a therapist?
That's interesting. I actually thought I was doing it the fast way. That's the slow way?
That was a question. Did you hear it?
But I don't have a problem with therapy. I think it's
there
a
was
good
a
idea.
question. See, the polite thing to do is to answer a question and not answer it with another question. See, that's polite. Did you hear the question?
Can you repeat it for me?
Exactly. Or was what? Or no. What did you think? What did you think I said?
Why haven't I considered going to a therapist at this point at 33?
I said, have you ever considered going to therapy? Yes.
I have. I haven't pulled the trigger, but maybe is that the fast way?
Why? Why haven't you pulled the trigger?
Let me think about that for a second. Why haven't I pulled the trigger?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just figured that's something you do when you get to a different stage in your life, like maybe when you want to be more reflective. I never considered.
You mean when you get too old to do anything? You mean when you get too old and you fucked up too much to do anything about it?
Well, maybe, yeah. I guess I always thought of therapy as something you do kind of to like unpack, you know?
So,
I never thought of it as
you think so basically you feel like you're just normal and even keeled and everything's A-okay.
Well, I think it depends on where I want to be.
No, ma'am, that's a very simple question. See, when I ask you a very simple question, it always comes down to this. Well, it depends on where you want to. At 33 years old, did you think you would be here, unmarried, no prospects? That's a yes or no. That's a yes or no.
I am an overthinker.
That's a yes or a no.
No.
That's a yes.
I would say overall no.
That's a no.
No. No.
So if you're not where you thought you would be, is that not a problem? That's a yes or no question again.
If you're not where you thought you'd be, is that a problem?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
All right. So if you had a destination, If you had a goal, a destination, and you said we're going to get there by a certain time, and you look up and you're nowhere close to your goal. At what point?
That's a problem.
You're right. So you had a 3-year relationship that you don't even want to count. That's a problem that you don't even want to count that. You involved nobody else, and you jumped right back on the carousel and decided to ride around again, and then pick somebody else who was 10 years older than you, and took another 4 years, and then jumped back off.
Right.
At what point do you realize that you're not the best picker of men? And maybe instead of trying to look at videos and just talking to this woman, talk to that woman, you need someone, just talk to somebody to get all these overthinking things in your head out on paper. Because all this overthinking, it ain't done shit for you.
Well, yeah, or at least it'll give me someone else to ramble to, right, before I go home.
Well, you're not gonna ramble. You're gonna pay.
Right. That is true.
Yeah, you're going to pay. That's what you need to, because the people who will listen to this shit for free are either more screwed up than you, or extremely bored. But you don't have time to waste. See, I'm making light of it, man. You're 33. You're going through life thinking this is fast. No, you got 2 years before your eggs is old.
Right.
So what are you talking about? This is a fast way. This is a slow way. It
just
took
my
2
new
years.
plan. But
you can't make a new plan with old eggs, man. You got 2 relationships in 7 years. That's a problem. You shouldn't have had the next one. You should have figured something out, man. You should have involved somebody else. And that's why I said the other day, so many of our sisters are out here just making decisions on their own, not asking anybody, keeping the counsel of women, and you pick poorly. I'm telling you right now, man. Right. First thing, you're an only child. That is an issue in and of itself. Number one. Number two, you're over 30. You're 33. You have passed what is called the wall in dating and mating. Most women over 30 are too difficult to really adjust or change. There's a thing called too old to mold. It requires a woman over 30 deciding to be proactive in changing. She's past the age to where a guy can actually teach, mold, or help her. That's why guys your age go get younger women and skip right on over you, except for Netflix and chill.
So are you saying that, like, so if you're over, well, basically for me, you're saying if I need guidance, the best thing to do now would just be to get therapy, talk it out, maybe try to find somebody who understands what my goals are, and maybe get a man so they could be like,
well, let me ask you a question.
Or
this
a male
way.
therapist.
Let me ask you a question this way. How many men do you have to talk to about this?
Just a few.
How many?
Maybe see if my.
You who?
I'm going in maybe like that I would really talk to you about it. Just two, like my grandfather and then my dad probably would be it.
Holy shit! She said her father, your grandfather, and your father. You didn't talk to your father. You got nobody to talk to. None. You talk to a bunch of women. So
yes, I do.
Exactly, and that's why you're alone. And that's why you're alone. So to answer your own question, talking to a bunch of women has got me by myself.
So that's the first thing that should go, is talking to women. So that's the first thing.
No, ma'am. The first thing you need to do is realize you got a problem inside your head. And that's not a problem. You need to sit down and talk to somebody. Black folks in this country, we need therapy like a mug. But you think you can figure this out on your own? Number one, I'll tell you what I tell my female clients. The reason I don't work with women as much anymore. Therapist, personal trainer, image consultant, matchmaker. That's what you older women need. And you're an older woman when it comes to marriage. Let me make that clear. You're an older woman when it comes to marriage. You're not a young woman.
I see. So you're saying basically
you're an older woman when it comes to marriage. You should have been married 10 years ago.
So adopt a new plan.
There's no adopt a new plan either. See, you
follow
still
an older woman's plan.
Ma'am. You don't. Okay. Let me say this again. Let me ask you this question. When have you ever followed a man's lead?
These are good questions because I've never heard them before.
Exactly, because you hang out with a bunch of batches.
I'll follow a lead in a relationship, but to your point,
Oh, you mean you?
if I start to,
hold on, let me get this right. You'll follow the loser's lead?
well, that's what I was going to say. To your point, once I start to feel like, oh, I don't think you're leading me right, then I will kind of revert back.
Hold on. All right, is it your nature role to lead?
No.
So how
and
do you
I do know that.
So how do you know if he's leading you right? You didn't even let your father lead you. See?
Well,
this is why.
That's what I'm trying.
Listen, listen. Okay, I'm gonna go into the next call, ma'am. Listening to you, realistically, this whole married, stay at home, that's not gonna happen. 72% of American women with children under 18 have to work full time. You're going to be in that.
Right.
If you 1 in 4 black women get married. Okay.
Right.
Getting married would be astronomical right now for where you're coming from. You're all over the place. And when I say you need therapy to get out of your own head. That just means to live a decent life. But to deal with a man,
whole different ball game.
Well, and the reality is, if you're in LA is the land of men with money. If they aren't approaching you, there's a reason. I mean, if you had to rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10 on looks, not your body, just your looks, and you can't use 7, what would you rank yourself?
Just average girl, regular girl. I don't know what the number scale would be.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10. Jesus Christ.
I don't know what the numbers mean. Just regular, whatever. What's regular? What's average?
1, 2.
What number constitutes regular, average?
You went to school in the United States of America. You know what a 0 to 10 scale is.
I do, but not when it comes to rating your own personal looks.
Are you like
a 5? Is 5 like 5's right down the center? So is that?
Would you rank yourself as 5 is right down? 8?
Like middle.
8 is pretty. 9 is beautiful. 10 is gorgeous. There is no 7 because most women like you would rank yourself a 7. Right down the middle would be closer to you're cutesy, but then again, how tall are you?
I'm short. I'm only 5'3".
And what dress size do you wear?
Just a 4, which I think is kind of average.
Okay. All right. So right there, you're a normal sized woman, an average looking woman. That means you get average man making average money, living an average lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what you're talking about.
That's good for me.
But you don't. But the last guy you said he was making more money than you.
Yeah, but that wasn't the issue of the money. It was more of just I don't really think he was serious about wanting to have kids and things like that. And obviously I don't have a lot of time. But listen, if you don't want to move to that range or you've changed your mind, then
I would say this.
Cut my losses, I guess.
Here's where it comes ultimately down to. I've tried to kind of go around it, but average. And that's not a bad thing.
No.
At 33 years old, you got a lot of things going on in your head. I mean, this conversation's been kind of like herding cats. I'm going to tell you right now, the guys who are like on that high earner, go-getter, ambitious, purpose-driven they're not going to do all this with you.
Okay.
They're not going to. Men don't talk this much typically. I have a show and I get paid to do this. But this is exhausting. And you're probably just having a high old good time thinking this is just good fun. And it's fucking exhausting. Right. There's no amount of sex that you could give me after this to make this worthwhile. There's not a good enough meal that you could cook to make this worthwhile.
Now I see what you're saying.
And what I'm trying to say it in a reasonable way possible is you have to be able to see your own outcomes and do something about it. And the way you're talking about doing it is, I'm just going to get information from a guy on YouTube.
No,
But you mean no? Yes, that's what you did.
I'm just calling in on the change
Listen,
forum.
but the point is, I know, man, but we've gotten down a further path, and everything that I've asked you that could actually help you and push the ball down the court, you haven't done. Therapy,
No, I think those
consulting. All right, all right. Uh, what would you like
Can
to
I
say?
ask you one question for advice? One last question for some advice pertaining to what you're saying.
Okay.
Because I just found your channel. That's why I even was
Go ahead.
kind of. So, you are an image consultant? Is that what you do?
Yes, but I also am a life coach, and I also have an advice line. If you can book a one-on-one session with me, yeah, but I don't do any matchmaking, anything like that. But I can help you with your overall
So
image.
here's my question, because I've actually had this discussion with friends too. So, in your opinion, do you think it's better for people to get life coaches or go to therapists like
Both.
psychologists or
Both.
counselors?
Both.
Both?
I don't know.
At
Yeah,
the same
both.
time?
Look, therapists help you with clinical issues. I don't know if you're clinically depressed, and I mean, you don't know either. Stop saying. Stop it. You don't know. You just go find out what's going on with you. But life coaches and that kind of stuff, that's a completely different thing than clinical therapy. But what I will tell you, you got a lot of shit going on. It's exhausting.
I'm sorry.
But that's the point. You got to interact with other people. And see, one thing about only children, we tend to not learn how to play with others because we didn't have anybody. Only children's social skills tend to suck.
Can I ask how you learned? Did you?
You can pay your way by booking a session. You're gonna bleed me up. Told you enough. Shit. Again, only children. See, with only children, especially with girls, she got her way all the time. Her daddy was weak. She got her way all the time. And daddy, and daddy, and daddy, and daddy, and daddy, and daddy. I can tell you that she probably ground that man into a nub. And mama was probably like, "Whew, shit, get out of my house. You're a whole fucking mess." Can you imagine being the man that has to deal with that? God dang. Let me ask you one more question. Sit there trying to talk to you. No. Thank you. That was very annoying. I'm gonna get my mileage out of this though. You better believe. That's crazy. Yep. So that's what goes on with that. When I allow you to come in, if your camera's all upside down and you're not ready, you're gonna. I mean, see, here's a problem with a lot of early to mid 30s. She's missed her timing, and no one has told her you need to stop and stop playing like you got all this time. You need to call a timeout, regroup, and get this shit together. She'd have did that till 40 years old. Kayla, go ahead and unmute yourself. Hello?
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Oh, how are you? Kayla?
Good. Yes. So I called in a few weeks back. Not sure if you remember 22 years old, Spelman grad.
How old are you? How old are you?
22.
Okay.
Spelman grad. I spoke to you a few weeks ago, and I wanted to come back with an update to let all your viewers know that you are the truth. Okay, I took your advice. So, in the last call, you said that I was a feminist. So I took that, and I've been working on being less career focused
Okay.
and marriage focused. And I currently have 3 prospects. And with me being 22, my question was of the 3 prospects, one guy is 35, he's a chef. Another guy, he's 27 and he's a VP at a hospital. And then the third guy, he's 23 and he's in software engineering. And my question is, with me being 22, is it better to go for the older, more established, or the young, up and coming young man?
I'll have to answer this in general for everybody because that's such a specific question. I'd have to know much more about you. That's one-on-one. That's one-on-one session worthy right there. But in general,
Okay.
let me answer this in general. In general, you got to really be honest with yourself and ask what kind of outcome do you want. If let's say you want to be a stay-at-home wife with 3 kids, well, there's only one guy that's going to be in a position to do that. The guy that's a chef, if you restaurateurs work crazy hours, and there's a lot of I've actually worked as a server before. That's a hectic business. The 23-year-old guy, I'm a little bit leery with that, just by some of the things that most women say they want. He may have the income, but he can't know anything. You're basically the same age. I would say of the 2, the older guys, just off the run sheet, the VP of the hospital would probably be the better bet. But book a one-on-one session because there's more that goes into that. But when I told you were a feminist, did that offend you?
No, it didn't. It just made me reevaluate how I approached relationships.
Okay.
So I've been doing, internal work and figuring that out.
But
learning
understand,
how
it's been 2 weeks. It's going to take a much longer time. See, there are no real quick fixes. They're just improvements over a period of time. Okay, that's what I want everybody to understand.
Fixes, but taking that first step.
Yeah. But thank you, and thank you for doing it. Thank you for calling back. It's important to hear that kind of stuff. Thanks, Kayla.
Yeah. Everyone that's listening, Kevin knows what he's talking about.
Appreciate it, sis. Bye-bye.
Okay, have a good one.
Bye-bye. See, and here's what I would say. It's all kind of baby steps. Some people are we're all different. We're all at different places. Hello? I'm going to admit you both. Trish and Farron. All right. We're going to put you back in the waiting room. Yeah. Farron going once. Farron going twice. Farron. Yeah, we're going to put you back in the waiting room. You need to get another picture up there. With the duck lips. Ladies, stop with the duck lips. Don't know what y'all doing with these duck lip pictures. Those are not cute. And then especially the duck lips or the pictures with the tongue out. Silly. You want to turn off a quality man? Put duck lips in a picture or keep doing that. Or damn filters with ears on them.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Kevin.
First name.
Nicholas Fuller. I was the guy in the chat. Good night, first of all.
You're Nicholas Fuller.
Yes, sir.
So what's your question? How old are you?
32.
Okay, Nicholas, 22 years old.
32.
32.
Yeah.
Please tell me how you've been victimized by the gynocracy.
Well, first of all, I'm not African American. I'm Jamaican. So I live in Jamaica. Currently in Jamaican society.
So here's Nicholas. I need you to make sure that the YouTube channel's off in the background. I hear background noise.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, you're listening to the show. That's not going to work.
Okay, it's off. All right, sorry about that, sir.
Okay, so you're 32 and you're living in Jamaica?
Yeah.
There's no gynocracy in Jamaica.
Really, Kevin? Why you say that?
Not like it is. When you speak of the gynocracy, it's usually right here in the States. But you tell me your position. You're 32.
Yeah, and I am an applications engineer.
Okay.
With an American company that's out here, right? I work in the bauxite industry.
Okay.
So basically, I studied chemical engineering at the university out here. And I'm basically working with this American company, gaining experience and building myself as a technical expert in that field.
Gynocracy, Nicholas. How you've been victimized, please.
Of course. Well, in my country, basically, the women are given more opportunities than us as males when it comes to job. Also in the
Hold on. Why are women given more opportunities than men in Jamaica?
Okay, well, it started way back in the early 1970s when government said that they wanted to push more women development and more women.
Are you talking about affirmative action?
Similar to what you have in America, yes.
Okay, so affirmative action. That's not a gynocracy creation. It exists, but women didn't create. But women didn't create affirmative action. Affirmative action was intended to level the playing field for Black men. The problem with affirmative action is they also brought in Title IX, which allowed women to be counted as a double minority, and the unintended consequences of that is companies got a dual benefit for hiring a woman and a minority. But you know who's benefited the most from affirmative action? White women. So the gynocracy, that's not.
Well,
no, those are the facts.
That's for your American society, right? You're talking about your American.
Okay, but you're okay. Go ahead. You're telling me how the gynocracy. You mentioned affirmative action, so I'm just going into it. How did affirmative action victimize
what
you?
happened? Well, when I left university, basically I went on a lot of job interviews, and I began to notice a trend, and other males around me began to notice the trends that whenever they went on these interviews, the females that went with us on the interviews always got the job.
How long you been out of college?
Out of college around 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
But you have a job, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's move on.
In terms of?
You got a job.
Yeah, but it took me too long.
But you got a job. I'm trying to understand how the gynocracy is victimizing you, Nicholas.
You see, Kevin, I think you'd have to be out here to basically understand, because
I'm in the world, but you haven't told me. You basically said affirmative action, and it took you too long to get a job, but you have a job. You're not making a compelling case. And you're telling me I don't understand. I'm listening to what you said.
Okay. So let me just give you a more in-depth.
Please, okay, what I need you to do, brother, is I've given you 4 minutes and you haven't said anything.
Okay, right. Basically, let me just tell you. So basically, there is a tendency to want to employ more females than males here in Jamaica. Okay. And what it has caused over the past decades is neglect of male development in Jamaica. That's why we have a lot of high crime rate, because the vast majority.
When was the last relationship you've had?
Last relationship in college.
10 years ago.
Right.
So you haven't had a woman in 10 years.
No, Kevin, no.
Okay. Have you had sex in 10 years?
Yes.
But you have not had a girlfriend or a serious relationship.
Right.
And that's the guy. And the gynocracy did that how?
Well, as you know, in Jamaican society, if you don't have resources, then you can't get what you need.
So you didn't get a girlfriend because you didn't have a job?
Basically, yeah.
But you've had a job for 8 years and you still haven't had a woman.
I did not have a job for 8 years, Kevin. I've been out of college.
You didn't have a job for 8 years. So you graduated?
No, Kevin.
Okay,
no.
Hold on, let me make sure. So you graduated 8 years ago?
Yeah.
And how long have you been employed?
Roughly around 4 years.
4 years. So you're 33? 32. And you graduated at what age?
24.
24. So 8 years. So half the time you've been out of college to now, you spend half the time unemployed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was because you couldn't get a job because of affirmative action.
Basically.
Okay. But tell me about the 4 years you have been employed.
Well, over the 4 years I've been employed, I've been.
Where's the woman? Where's the date?
Nah, I kind of stopped that thing.
Okay, see, here's what you said, Nicholas. The reason you can't get a woman or have a date is because you can't get a woman because you don't have the resources. I accept that, but you got a job now, so the floodgates should be open. Where are they at?
Well, the problem is, Kevin, you have to be selective in the females you take up here in Jamaica because.
Well, no, that's not what you said. The first thing you said is the resources. You got that now. Now you're moving the goalpost. Now it's
okay.
Okay. So, how tall are you?
5'9". That's what the national ID says.
Okay. And how often do you actually go out and about and socialize?
I would say about for a month, about 5 times.
5 times a month. So you go out roughly 60 times a year. Over the last 4 years, that's 240, 250 times. And 250 different times of socializing. You can't find a woman to go out on a date with?
It's not about date, Kevin. It's about finding a partner.
Well, yeah. but in order to find a partner, you got to start with a date.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
But you've been able to insert your penis into a woman.
Yes.
Okay. So you could find sex. But see, the gynocracy doesn't stop that. See, if the gynocracy is going to victimize you, they keep the sex away from you too. Because that's what you really want. So you can have the sex, but you can't get the relationship. But that's the gynocracy's fault?
That's complicated, Kevin. That's a complicated question.
It's not complicated. It sounds to me like you have a job. You have the ability to have sex. You just don't have the ability to maintain a relationship. That's fine. But that's not the gynocracy victimizing you.
All right. Point taken. Can't go on that one.
So when you guys say stuff like that, no one's ever challenged you. And here's my thing. I think it is a weakened position for a man to be employed and have the ability to have sex with a woman, say that you can't have something because the gynocracy is victimizing you. If the gynocracy wanted to victimize you and had the power, you would not have a job and you certainly would not have sex.
Well, sex is the least. The problem is, Kevin, is when you bring them into the house, because our laws says in Jamaica, if you are in a common law relationship.
But in order to get them into a common law relationship, you got to date them first. See, you're down the path, my friend. You haven't even got to the date. See, that's why I have a problem with a lot of the guys who talk like you. You talk about laws and stuff like that's a real problem. You can't even get a woman to date you.
No, I can't get them, Kevin, but I don't want to keep them.
Why?
As I said, if you go in a common law relationship with them, they can take away your things after 3 years.
Right. So this is the guy. So after 2 years, right?
Three. After
3
years.
3. Well, you only had a job for 4 years, so it ain't like that's really that big a deal. So you got from day 1 to 3 years to have at it. Tell me about why you don't have a woman in that time frame.
Well, basically, I would say I was just focusing more on my personal development, paying off loans.
Personal, no. Personal development and paying off loans are two different things. What kind of personal development are you talking about?
Okay, I went back to school to do some more studies.
Okay.
That would have helped me get a job. Eventually, it did with networking.
All right, great. But what about your actual interpersonal development? Your social skills. You got the hard skills. What about the social skills? Soft skills.
Okay. From my observation, social skills are okay because
whoa. From your observation, your social. So you mean to tell me that every guy? You mean to tell me you're the average, the norm? Most guys have not had a woman for 8 years in Jamaica. That's what you're trying to tell me.
No, Kevin, you're saying not had. Access to sex is different than
I know, no, sir.
Girlfriend.
No, sir. What I'm trying to figure out is if the men your age, are you trying to tell me that you believe that most men your age have had your mirrored experience with the lack of female companionship relationship for 8 years?
In Jamaica, also, I would say yes because we have.
No,
it
sir.
reflects the birth rate.
No, sir. No,
it
sir.
reflects the birth rate.
No,
Kevin.
no, sir. No, sir.
Yes.
No, sir. You can believe what you like, but you're not the only person I have clients in Jamaica, son. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the way you're handling this conversation, no offense, man, but the gynocracy has not been made to look as it's the major infraction here. It looks like
continue, sir.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, I am the major infraction then.
Well, if you have a job, the first reason you said is you couldn't have a woman in Jamaica because you don't have the resources. You got that covered now. For 4 years, you said you can have sex. So that means you can actually interact with a woman. How come you can't date her? Then you start to try to tell me, well, common law, but that only kicks in for 3 years. After 3 years, why can't you get a woman to date you?
Okay, the real issue is I'm picky.
What do you mean you're picky?
There's a certain type I like.
So, okay, what do you like?
Like the mixed race ones.
Mixed race, you mean fair complexion?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, those are expensive.
Okay. How much money do you make? How much money do you make?
All right. This is the internet. I don't want. Okay, let me give you a ballpark. I would say around US. This is Jamaican standard. I'm between 3 and 2,000 US.
Okay, so does that put you in what percentage in this country?
That's a good percentage. There's a good range.
So the guys who make that kind of money have the kind of women you're talking about having?
Yeah, if you can pay for it, yeah.
No.
If you want to pay for
it. No, sir. I asked you if men who have the kind of money or resources you have, do they have the kind of women you
want? Yes, I would say yes.
Okay, then what's the problem here? If guys who make the kind of money you make can get the kind of women you're talking about, why can't you?
I would say, Kevin, honestly, I don't want to spend the money. I want to get it free.
So
sorry, Kevin, but you got it out of me, man. You got it out of me.
Okay, so you're a deadbeat.
No, not really, but
no, yes, really you are. You're a deadbeat. You're a deadbeat. You want a beautiful woman for free.
Then how come other guys get it free, Kevin?
We're not worried about other guys. We're talking about you, Nicholas. You came in here talking about whether gynocracy is an error, and you're a deadbeat.
Why Kevin? Really? No, I wouldn't say that.
You said the men are victimized by the gynocracy. I can play the tape, sir. I'm very good at what I do. We've gotten down into the point that you can have access to these women. You got the means and everything else. You just don't want to pay for it. You want it for free, i.e., you're a deadbeat. So and your only standard is like, well, other guys can get it for free. Yeah, but they may be paying with a currency you don't have. It's called like social skills. They're paying for it. They're just not paying for it with the money. See, the problem is you. And I don't like cheap men who try to blame their problems on other things. You can be cheap, but you can't say you want beautiful women for free. You can say that, but you don't get them. You're gonna pay sooner or later.
that's what the females tell me all the while, Kevin.
But here's the problem though. But see, the problem is you lied. You said the gynocracy, and that's an outright lie. And see, guys like you will come into my chat room talking about these women and these strags and these systems and this and that. And I've just shown through asking you questions that you are no better than the women you talk about in this regard. You're being disingenuous, sir. You want beautiful women and you don't want to pay for beauty. And you can't get it off your personality or your game or whatever. Accept that. But don't say it's the fault of something else. Just say, I need work. I need help. I got to get better. I got to improve. I'm trying to be nice about this.
That's not nothing wrong with that. Having a frank discussion, no problem.
Well, a frank discussion is, why can't you just own the fact that you want something that you're not willing to pay for and you don't have the social skills or whatever to get it?
So basically, Kevin, what you're saying to me is what is said the most here in this country is that why some men pay and why some men don't pay. So you're saying that some men in Jamaica, right? Most of them don't have good social skills.
I don't care about what's said in general. I'm talking to you about you. See, that's another problem with this discussion. I've spent 10 minutes talking to you about you, and you keep wanting to make it vague because you don't want to look in the mirror. What does you being right about a general issue have to do with you? And if this is your personality, sir, I can tell you, most women that you would be interested in don't want to deal with this. The whole vibe is wrong.
I'm looking into it. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Okay, but in order to look into it, you got to stop blaming stuff outside of you. You have not shown me how Nicholas has been victimized by a gynocracy, nor any of the men you're talking about in Jamaica.
Well,
please get rid of those. Please get rid of those talking points when it comes to certain subjects. When it makes sense, use it. But it doesn't make sense to justify all failures. You weaken and cheapen the argument when you use it for everything. It's like pulling a race card.
Kevin, it could be true. I'm not gonna lie. So, man, this was a good session. So, I thank you.
Yeah, one that you didn't pay for because you cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap fucker. I don't deal with cheap men in my life. I don't like them around me. I go through my links to root them out and spray raid on them. See what I've talked about? See, we always want to put it off on it's these strags. And oh, okay, all right. The gynocracy got. Oh, okay. Well, mm-hmm. I just don't want to pay for it. He gets it for free, so I should too. Okay, all right. Alrighty then. Interesting. You switched the picture. Hello? Hello? How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Everything is great. You can't complain.
Okay, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Are you on Bluetooth?
Okay, what about now?
Okay, yeah. What do you got for me?
Um, I just was saying only because I've been in a situation where I could have had a high value man. It's I learned that confidence means everything, and because I actually do want a relationship, I know that I have to bring my confidence level to like greater than what it is right now. So it's like change is nothing. Nothing is wrong with change if you really truly want better. And because I had it and I want to obtain it and get it back again, I
Get
know
what
that
back again?
that is
Get
something
get
that
what up? Get
has
what
to
back? Hold
change.
on, hold on. Get what back again?
Confidence
Oh,
level. It's like I said, at
okay.
once
Get your
upon a
confidence
time,
level.
I
Okay,
did have a
can you? You
chance
must
to
not.
have a high
Hello,
value.
hello, hello. Am I on speakerphone?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, can you hear me when I start talking?
Um,
Can you hear me?
I don't.
Can you hear
Yeah, I
me?
can. Yes, I can.
So when I start speaking, can you not hear me?
Yeah, I can. I can hear.
Okay. Please don't talk over me.
I can hear you.
Okay. Maybe there's a delay. What I'm asking is
I'm
not to
sorry.
talk over me. Okay, so here's the thing. You want your confidence level up to get what, a high value man? Is that what you're saying?
Keep to keep a high value man because it's like once I get them, it's like the confidence level just I don't know. It just goes. It's like I'll have it and then I don't know. It just
Do
goes.
you have
I
me
don't
on do you have on
know
the
how
YouTube
to
too? Do you
explain
have on YouTube as well? Because there's a delay.
well, I stepped outside. I honestly don't know how to work Zoom. I
Okay.
came outside to hope, that it'd be better, but
Okay.
I'm not
So
sure
you've had a
and
high
I
value
can
man.
call back
Okay. So you've had a high value man and now
and I
you want
can try you.
hello, hello. You've had a high value man and your confidence dropped and you couldn't keep him? And now you want to get your confidence up so you can get
Oh
your
no,
high value man back?
I can't even tell you.
Did you hear me? Huh. Yeah. High value man. Can you hear me? I don't quite understand. Don't quite understand. Um I don't quite understand. Don't quite understand why all you women talk about high value men when you're average. And you know you're average. I'm just saying, I'm like, don't know what
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no, to the no, no. Hell to the no, no, to the no, 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 no. Hell to the no, no, to the no, 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 no.
you were saying.
I never mind. I don't even. Never mind. Because never mind.
I don't
Thank
understand, ma'am. You
you,
were talking
Mr.
about high
Kevin.
value men and confidence.
I just was saying once upon a time, because I'm 33, so it's like I met quite a few men in my time. It's just the type of guys that I actually like. If when I get them, I don't know. It's like I believe. It's not saying that I believe. I know it's a confidence thing. because it's like it's not that I can't obtain it or I can't get it. It's I
What do you
have
mean
it.
by high
I
value?
have it
What do you
now.
mean by what do you mean by high value? Are you talking about the kind of money these guys make?
Just I'm is actually, sir, it's not even about the money. It's about the mentality. I like I like alpha males. I really
You like
do.
alpha
That's just
male.
my thing.
Okay. Do you have any children?
I have one son,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
and I had him at 27. I'm 33.
And high value men tend to make on the higher side of the income bracket too.
Yes, this is true. I'm not denying that.
So you're looking for a man that's like a six-figure guy?
He don't have to be six figures. All I'm saying is that I just want someone that has class, that has value, basically.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. It's not even about a money thing.
Well, where's the father of your child?
He's around. He's around. He helps. He take care of his son. There's nothing wrong with that. He's definitely not the issue. He's a good person. He's a good
But
person.
why aren't you guys
That's
together?
all I can say.
Was he a high value man? Was he a high value man?
Very valued. He's valued.
No. No.
Very.
He was. Say again. He was very valued.
He's he's in my eyes. To me, he's high value. He has his stuff together. He's he's a good man. He's a great man. But for
So
me,
whoa. But if he's a high value man and he's a great man in your eyes and has his stuff together, and you already have a baby with him, why are you out here trying to find another one? Why don't you just get with the one you got?
I'm not trying to. Well, sir, I mean, he said that I was too good for him, like I was too nice, basically.
Okay.
He, in my eyes, he preferred more girls of kind on the hood side. I'm not exactly that. I like to hold conversations. I like to learn things. I like to do things. He's not quite that type of person, which I knew
So why did you
then.
give him?
It's
So
just
why
at
did
the
you give
time
him?
when
Hold
I
on.
met him.
Right. Then why did you give him a baby?
Well, honestly, I kept him because I honestly
Why did you
didn't think
give
I
him
could
a?
have a
You,
child. I'm
no.
listening.
You gave this man a child, and I'm asking you, why did you have a baby with this man if he wasn't? See, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
Okay.
Why'd you have a kid with a man who ain't worth being with?
Honestly, I had a kid because I didn't want to have an abortion, and I was old enough and kind of doing, good enough to have him. I mean, we were good, but once the baby came, he just kind of flipped. I don't want to. Yeah,
Okay.
he kind of flipped
All right.
basically.
All right, ma'am. The reason I ask you is because you came on talking about confidence and changing and high value, and you're all over the place. I'm just not getting it. And 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 again, another one,
All I
another.
was saying, just to answer.
Well, you can't answer
I'm sorry.
the question you were answering, ma'am, is see when your life is chaotic like this, it's hard for people to take your opinion seriously.
Okay, that's fair.
Ladies, people are calling in to get advice, and they're listening to a woman who says she confidence and this and that and can change, but you're not doing it in your own life. I want a high value man. I want an alpha male. All right. What about your ex? Well, he's a good man and a great character. Well, why aren't you with him? Well, because he ain't that. What?
Well, no. He
No,
said, well,
ma'am. No,
sir,
I've
he said
heard
that.
and I've heard enough. I've heard enough. I've heard enough. I've heard what you had to say. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and that's okay. But I would say this: high value men have something to do with income first, and men of a certain status do not want to be a stepfather to a woman who is a baby mama.
Okay.
You're not a widow. You're not a divorcee. You're a single. I don't call them single mothers. I call them baby mamas. And high value men
Okay,
do
that's fine.
well. I mean, you call into the show, so see. Here's the problem: when a lot of women like yourself speak on high value men like you've had them, and you haven't, you make it seem common. You did not have a high value man, but you tried to say like you did, and like you're a woman on that level, and you're
Okay, well,
not. That's a problem. Just be who you are and embrace it.
I'm understanding what you say, but listening to your other shows versus blue collar versus white collar and all that stuff, when I think of a high value man, whether it's white collar or blue collar, I just think of a man who has standards. And not saying that my son's father wasn't a good person or whatever. I should have left when I had a chance to, which is true.
But you had a
Honestly,
baby
I
with
didn't
him.
think.
You had a baby with him.
Well,
And what did
it's
he
no
what did he
excuses.
do for a living? What was his job? What was his job title?
Well, he's in construction welding, but it's like temp jobs. But
So he
he
was not
comes from
fully
a
employed.
well-off.
Ma'am, he was not fully employed. You said temp
No,
jobs. That
he
means not
wasn't.
full.
But he's the
Ma'am,
type of
not fully employed, meaning 2,000 hours a year. Temp job means temporary, meaning not full. He was not fully employed. You had
I'm
it.
not arguing with you.
I
I'm
know you're not. I'm
totally
just getting the
listening to
facts.
you.
I'm just getting the stuff straight. You were dealing with a man. You were having unprotected sex with a man who was not fully employed, and you had a child by a man who's not fully employed. He may be a nice guy. I'm not. I'm certainly not gonna run him down. I don't do that. But what I'm saying is, men are looking at the chaotic details of a woman's life, and they're not high value. A man with standards will not touch this. And it sounds like the man you're talking about that you had a child with did not even meet your minimum qualifications for your standard for you to stay. So how are you
I
talking on
take
high
my
value?
faults. Sir, I take my faults. I understand completely what you're saying. Like I said, I did have a child by a man who was
Ma'am,
working at the temporary place.
the man you had a child with is not even up to your minimum standard for you to remain with him.
So this is 5 years ago. I'm not I'm not giving no excuse. Like I said, when I had a chance to leave, I should have left.
I'm sorry. Let's do that again. I don't get it, man. I just don't. I don't get it. We have so many women running around talking about high value this, high value that, and you don't have no high value, man. He ain't even have enough value for you to stay with him. I'm tired. I am tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. We got one more call in. Dude, you've been over here a long time. I hope you got something valuable to put into the call, man. You've been hanging for a minute. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Hello.
Hi, hello. Give me 1 second. I need to mute. Hi, my name is John. I'm in Dallas.
Okay. Hi, John. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good.
How old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay. What do you got for me?
Um, I was gonna be on topic, but yeah, change is necessary to go from where you start to where you want to be.
Okay.
And if I guess you want us to, oh well, I should probably do the rundown. I guess. So 33, Dallas, SMU alumni. I work in finance. We do valuations for like banks and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm associate level. I'm trying to get to senior associate, but that might not happen this year.
Okay.
And my income this year, I got a really good bonus. So I came in at around total comp 77 before matching like 401k and stuff like that. But usually I'm around 67, 68. So I'm trying to get that to 90s before like next couple of years.
Okay. And
before
what
35.
and what and the okay. So career is doing what it's doing. What about the personal life?
Personal life. Okay, so this is the I need to do better here. So I got my degree from SMU in 14. Truck what it did. So I spent a lot of time paying that off and wasn't really going out and trying to date people. Finished that off 2018. Got a BMW, paid that off.
When's the last relationship you had?
College.
Okay, let's knock it off. You how old?
33.
See, black folk, we always want to, because we've been relationally failing, we put it off and saying, I was trying to pay off my credit card debt, this or that, and then I went, but look, just didn't do a good job at it. You didn't focus on it. That's fine. True. But we don't get anywhere by minimizing it. Do you want to have children?
Yes, I do. I was hoping for 36 and being able to get like a wife and...
How many children?
3.
3? Okay.
3 sounds good.
3? All right. And you're in Dallas? I'm
in Dallas. So I need to, I know. I need to get that to like at least 120, 130.
Well, I mean, do you expect your wife to work?
Yes and no.
Well, she's going to have to.
Yeah, she probably
I lived in Dallas for 11 years, so I'm very familiar with the cost of living. And my income, look, brother, 3 kids, she's going to have to work because you don't make enough.
Okay.
And at 33 years old, that's cool.
I have a question.
Hold on. But at 33 years old, you got to know that that's going to alter the kind of woman you deal with. The higher up the S&V scale you go, the more you're going to have to bring to the table.
Okay.
Go ahead.
My question to you is, what is the level that you think I need to be at to be at that wife doesn't have to work in Dallas level?
Say again, what level do I think you need to be at as far as?
Both to be a better catch and to be.
I give you 10. I say 10,000. First of all, generally I say men need to make 3 times their age. So if you're 33, you need to make 99, so 100,000. That's just on the low end. But you need to make at least 10 grand a month to be able to live in Dallas, to afford a BMW, to afford to afford to purchase your own property, to afford to actually have a retirement, things like that, to be well off, to have investments, to be able to do some traveling, to be able to catch a last minute flight without having to. You're going to need to increase the income. Just on that's a single guy, because living in an apartment in Irving is cool, but most people don't want to live like that. Most people want to have a suburban kind of. I'm not a suburban guy. I was much happier in the M Streets or even West Village. But depending upon the caliber of woman you want, you went to SMU, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm assuming
I should clarify one thing. With like the debt level that I currently have no existing debt because I paid off the car already.
That's cool. That's cool. But still, the caliber of woman you're talking about, we're talking about a woman who's a what on a scale from 1 to 10, and you cannot use 6. I mean 7.
Okay, so I'm like 5'7", 5'8",
I just need to know
making
what she looks like. Scale of 1
what
to
she
10.
looks like.
Is she an 8, 9, or 10, or is she 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? What is she?
I don't expect supermodels, so I'm gonna go with 6.
Okay. So you expect her to be cute.
Yeah, I expect her to be cute. I don't expect her to be like Victoria's Secret model level.
All right. Cute and all right. Cute women, much more reasonable. Again, if I were looking, I don't deal with women like that. Honestly, I don't. But if you're talking about a woman like that, how are you getting out? Because at 33, your skills are just off. Here's the truth, dude. You need to book a one-on-one consult. I can't do this for guys for free. Book your time because this is far more in depth. If you don't have any debt, you got a BMW, you have all the trappings, but you don't have the social skills.
Okay.
And I can't do that. I can't give you the social skills and soft skills on a phone call. This is what guys have to get used to doing. Men who want things you say you want out of life, pay for it. You paid to go to SMU. You didn't go to North Texas. You paid for
Right.
a BMW. You did not get a Honda Accord. Don't get cheap when it comes to coaching.
Okay.
In all things, not just with me, just in all things. Top performing men have coaches. Thanks,
Okay.
John, for holding. I appreciate it.
Sure, no problem. Thank
All
you.
right. I mean, he's got something going for him, not having debt. That's cool, but you still got to get out there and talk. I'm going to take this last call and I'm a roll. See, SMU, BMW. Hello? Unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Introduce. Hello. And you are?
Oh, my name's Adrian.
Hi, Adrian.
Hi. How are you?
All right. This is the part where you can actually throw in what you call for.
Well, I called to kind of give an insight on are Black women allowed to change and are Black men allowed to change?
Okay.
I definitely do feel like Black women are allowed to change because we are ever evolving.
Okay.
Well, and it sounds like I'm a little bit older than most of the people that call into your show. So I can't say, I definitely have evolved since being in my 20s to being in my 30s.
Okay. How old are you?
I am 37.
Oh, okay. And have you changed much since you were? Where have you changed the most since your 20s?
Oh my God, I believe I've changed overall since my 20s.
Where have you changed the most?
The most, probably career-wise.
Okay, what do you do?
I'm a software developer.
Cool. Are you married?
I am not. I'm a divorcee.
Oh, okay. You have any children?
I have 2 children.
And how long you been divorced?
I have been divorced. Oh my God. I have been divorced for 12 years.
You got divorced at 25?
Yes. I was married at 19. I got married very young.
Okay.
And had children very young.
Okay. Like most folks.
Really? I didn't know that's what most people.
You went to college, right? You went to college, yes? Did she disappear? Adrian. I think she just slipped. Right. So yeah, I can't hear you, Adrian. So you know what happens when you start asking those hard questions.
Meep meep.
You know, when the real hard questions start coming out.
Meep meep.
Oh my. I got married and I'm software engineer. Really? You're a software engineer. Software engineer. How many people believe that? I need to see by a show of hands. How many black men think you had a black woman who was a software engineer who was married at age 19, divorced at 25, and had 2 children as a product of that marriage? I married and divorced young. Oh, did you now? Really? Did you go to college? Oh, shit. Oh, he's going to start asking me questions. You know, did you go to college? I mean, most people who are software engineers went to college, and most people who went to college saw their college colleagues getting married at the same time. I mean, marriage was not uncommon in college. I mean, especially when you're older, like she said she was. Right? I mean, I'm just going to just say, man, I don't get it. I don't see your question, dude. I can't see the question you asked to put in here, man. And they've changed this whole thing up. So, TB, I don't see your question. I'm sorry, man. I can't see it. I can't see it. You can retype it, though. TB prolific. You can retype your question. I don't see it, though. Yeah, I'm 37 and I'm a mother and I was married at 19-year-old black woman who's a software engineer. I'm married. Man, if you don't get out of here. Yes. Hi. How are you? I was going to attempt to troll you, but I found out it's going to probably be much harder than I thought it was going to be. This is rather uncomfortable. I think I'll be leaving now. I don't want to get embarrassed.
Meep meep.
We'll go ahead and give it to her. Give it to her. What's going on with my little taps, man? My taps. Man, you would have done better if you'd have called in saying that you were like a brain surgeon by day and a superhero by night. A black woman software engineer. I was going to ask if you're going to do a call-in show putting black men. What? About featuring. No. Nope. 18, I'm not going to do a show about blue collar. No. 18, I'm going to tell you, man, you're outside of my target market. No offense. But all the best, but you're too soon for this conversation, man. 18 years old, you're just now kind of getting out in the world. But, all right, I got to get up out of here. Megan, why are you highlighting me? Don't do that. I don't like when people highlight me, Megan. That's not cool. it draws my attention to it, and then I look up and you have not super chatted, you have not put nothing in there. That's just not cool. So anyway, I got to get up out of here. That was worth the price of admission right there. She was like, oh no, oh no. I need to give me a Thanos snap. And just dust some of these people. Anyway, till the next time, peace. We are gone. Boom, 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 boom. Join me on Patreon for videos you will only see there. Monday, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Today's show is going to be tomorrow. Promises to be dope. Follow your Godfather over on IG. The things you will only see over in the frat room. When it's live, it's live. But when it's gone, it's gone. Check it out. Forward your show ideas to info@bykevinsamuels.com. Or even better, go book your one-on-one private time with me at bykevinsamuels.com. Only business. If you send me that BS, I will quickly block you. Shout out to Erica Williams. Saw Mr. Japan here earlier. If you are interested in joining my mixed Facebook group, yes, where black men and black women are getting together to do business and personal stuff, good stuff. But remember, you got to have your accurate profile pic, age, current marital status, and what you're looking for, just in general. Like, we don't do the lying, we don't do the trolling. Good place to be. Yes, there are some beautiful women over there. Picked by your godfather. Good night.